What's up, guys? Back, another video, obviously. Before we start things off, let me give a big thank you to all the people that have recently subscribed, that have been viewing. It is much appreciated. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, yada yada yada. All right, so today's little topic: commuting on the Ryker. And I say specifically the Ryker as opposed to the Spyder, because I will do another video on that one once I decide to take it out, because you're going to see a lot of Ryker content at the moment, because this has got to go into the shop. It's got to get the 12,000 mile maintenance done, which I like to do in the winter, because I could just dump it and be like, get it back to me 3-4 weeks. I don't really give a crap. This was inspired by a commenter on one of my videos, and he was asking about storage options, and well, that got me thinking. There's a couple of things with commuting, and storage happens to be one of them, and I will go into please stick around. You know, a lot of guys like to dump out early, so I will be discussing the actual storage options in more detail kind of to the end. Here's my experience commuting on a Ryker. So prior to my retirement, I had a 30-mile commute to work. So that was 60 miles round trip. And I pretty much, you know, 5 days out of the week, obviously, I was on one of my trikes, either the Spyder or on the Ryker. Now, given the nature of my work, it wasn't, I didn't have to carry a lot of gear. I wasn't like a construction worker where I had to take all my tools job site to job site. So when I say commuting, I think we should kind of narrow it down to, or let's make a couple of caveats. Number one, you don't have a lot of gear to carry, okay? Number two, your distances aren't really that long. And the third one is going to be parking, and maybe the fourth one would be traffic. Yeah. First off, how much are you carrying? The space on the Ryker is, well, right off the bat from the factory, it's very limited. All you have is the frunk up front, and you might be able to carry a pair of gloves in there, little knickknacks, maybe a soda bottle, water bottle. That's about it. You know, your cell phone. I don't know why people put their cell phones there, but whatever. So if you have a stock Ryker, if that's all you need to carry, then okay, fine. That's that issue's taken care of. I worked overnight, so I took a lot of coffee with me. About three of those travel size stainless steel thermoses type deals, and maybe a light snack or something like that, not too much. And I had it in one of those really small backpacks. That really small backpack fits in the back on the top case here, so it was perfect. So that's the thing. It's like, if you're carrying light, let's say you have an office job or something to that effect, or a place where you can change, then the storage isn't such a big deal. The second thing is parking, and I bring up parking as opposed to two wheels, because two wheels is a lot easier to park. You know, if it's only about as long as a car is wide, you could back it up into the curb. You know, if it's if you can get a slight angle, it's going to take up less space than a car. Unfortunately, the Ryker and the Spyder and the RT take up a lot more room than a regular two-wheel motorcycle. So, for all intents and purposes, you're not going to be able to back into a parking area. You're going to have to parallel park it. That's the nature of the beast. Now, the saving grace is it does take up less room forward to back than a car, so you could probably fit into some very marginal spaces, you know. like here in the city, you have some curb cuts for driveways that are very small, and you really can't fit a car into it without blocking the driveway, but you can fit your Ryker and your Spyder into those spots, so that's a benefit. But obviously, if you work in an office space where there's parking, or you want to pay for parking, or there is actual parking available, then that's not an issue. But if you drive this into the city type situation where there is no parking, that's going to be difficult, and the two wheels definitely makes parking a lot easier. Traffic, you're not lane splitting. You're not. So let's just write that off. You're not going to fit this safely in between two cars. That being said, it's also liquid cooled, so you do not have the overheating issues that you would in a air-cooled engine. But you can't lane split. So if there's traffic, you're gonna have to sit in it. One of the saving graces also is if you're sitting in traffic, you don't have to put your feet down. You don't have to work a clutch. So just like driving an automatic car, you know, you only really need to hold the brake to keep from rolling here and there, if that's applicable. If you're on a flat road, come to a stop and just sit there until it moves. Obviously, I'm from New York. I can't speak for every state, but this is classified as a motorcycle, and I don't think that the police or the state police or whoever is in charge, even if your state does not classify this as a motorcycle, I don't think it'd be an issue using HOV lanes. Here in New York City, you need 3 or more passengers to be in an HOV lane, and that's the weather. You know, you have an 8-hour or more work day, or you work part-time, it really doesn't matter. Weather can change. You know, you can check the weather report. You pull into that your parking spot at work, and by lunchtime it's raining or snowing. Who the hell knows? So the good thing is that the 3 wheels are better than 2 in bad weather. So if you do happen to get caught out there, you could probably make it home with exercising some judicious caution in how you ride, but still safer riding in the rain on 3 wheels than 2. Fuel economy. The Ryker and the Spyder, you know, and compared to a car, I would say that for the most part, unless you get like the most fuel efficient vehicle on the road, it's probably more fuel efficient than a car. It is definitely not as fuel efficient as many two-wheel motorcycles. So, you know, like, yeah, I think that's a true statement. I don't think they're as fuel efficient as some other two-wheel motorcycles. You know, because let's face it, if you're trying to game the system, you have to take all these into account. If you just don't want to be stuck in a car, well, then that makes life a lot easier, because you're probably not really too concerned about the rest of it. But if you're thinking of purchasing these things to get out of your car, you know, you're using it for a purpose now. Now it's not enjoyment, so you really have to think a little bit more than you would have previously. I rode my Ryker and my Spyder all winter long, all summer long, and unless it was snowing, raining, lots of salt left over, then we're incredibly windy. All right, I'm gonna go head over to a location so I could get off here, and we'll do another walk around with the camera, and we'll discuss gear options. All right, we have arrived at our destination. Let's go get the other camera out. and do a little walk around.
Now, let's talk about some of the gear that's on here. This is the Can Am tank bag. Hate to tell you this, I think this is useless. I think it's useless. Really, for me personally, the only thing I have in here is an extra battery pack for that camera. So this really only goes on when this camera's here. This right here is additional storage. It's on the max mount. And then let me come along on this side so I'm not shooting into the sun. This is the front. Aftermarket. This, and of course, trying to do everything with one hand sucks, but you know, when you buy a Ryker, that's what you got. That's it. I'm sure you can see in there. There is a USB plug in there. Now, since we're also doing commuting, this is a half cover. It basically goes from the headlights to that bag in the back. You see that the weather's changing, you just grab that, you put it over the top. That way at least your seat, your controls, your electronics, most of the bike isn't soaking wet, okay? When you're commuting, always good to have a lock. This is the one I use. This is awesome. I don't think you could actually get that one anymore, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Little accessory pouches here. If you watch my previous video on fueling up your Ryker or your Spyder, get one of these, okay? So when you open up your gas tank, this is what you put over the nozzle to keep it from spilling. There's really nothing much you could put in there. You know, maybe a small soda bottle, a pair of gloves. You know, if you're wearing gear that don't have pockets, or you don't trust, or they don't zip up and they're not secure, maybe drop your wallet in there, your cell phone, stuff like that. Now, this is my main storage. Okay, we'll just open it up and we'll see what the hell's in there. Nothing. Okay, got some rags, you know, got a little helmet chain there, or cable lock. You know, the nice thing is they do make it yellow. You know, these are just like tie down straps. This is just junk that I just leave in here because you never know when you're going to need it. You know, wipe down the dirt or the water. You know, it does unfold, which is not bad. You know, clips together. It's basically like a roll top. You know, you could just, you know, roll it and then tuck it. I don't even know. Have I ever done it? Not really. You know, like I said, you can get some depth into this thing. You can get some depth in there. You know, 10 pounds, 10 pound limit. Whatever. Oh, yeah. So there's like I said, this comes up, but here's the problem. If you put the ratchet on here and you kind of loosen it, that's about, take a look underneath there, that's about how much play you have. So if you don't have a lot of stuff to carry, this is good. Another benefit of this particular case is, you know, there's I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little latch underneath here. Blink. So you do that latch. Sorry, I'm trying to do this one-handed. There you go. There's the max mount. And then that's the bottom. So the tab goes in that little hole and the lock goes in there. And if you have the backrest, I know they came out with a new one. This is like the older model. It all clips together. So let me just put this back. As you can tell, there's no locking mechanism to this thing. So you better be very careful of what you store in there. Okay. Now, another option is on that max mount, you can get the Link Q plate, which I do have, and I have another case. The other case doesn't seem that much bigger, and I also find that the Link Q plate is more of a hindrance than a help. But if for some reason I needed to carry something, I would swap it out, and I haven't done it yet. Another option you'll see on the internet is there's a saddlebag. Okay, it attaches here and here, and you get a saddlebag right here underneath your muffler. It seems like it's well made, but then again, you have to buy another mounting bracket. Now, here's another thing, like I said, you'll see on the internet. They have people that they try to turn this into a touring vehicle. So they have a giant case up here and maybe 2 saddlebags. And what they do is, there's a plate that would go underneath here somewhere, and it bolts to the underside of that, and then it comes across, and it's basically just a bent piece of metal, and you could bolt other aftermarket cases, hard cases, to that. There's the Link Q plate. Now, I think I'll have to cut in right now, but I'll put a bunch of the options from the internet because I do not have it, and I'm not going to tell you about the practicality of any of it, the size-wise. But like I said, I have another one of these. I will show that to you, and I'll show you the plate. I have modified it. You could go back and look at my other videos. Now, here's the thing. If you get the Link Q plate, it does have some advantages. One of the nicer things they have they also have a cooler. Okay. I'm sure you can use the cooler for cooling and storage. You know, whatever floats your boat. And then they have a really nice bag. Now, I have to show you pictures of it because I do not have it. But I was thinking about it, but I didn't go that route. It has, this again, I'm going to have to cut in, so I guess I'll try to walk you through what I'm looking at in my head. So on the Link Q plate that I'll show you in a minute, where the stuff actually clips in, the backpack has that built into the base of it, and then it has a regular backpack, and it's kind of reversible. It has a flap that'll cover the arm bits and expose the click-in bits, and then vice versa. So you could use it as a backpack, or you could attach it directly to the bike. And all you need is that Link Q plate. But then again, that Link Q plate, not too expensive, but it does open up a world of things to you. Maybe you have also something odd. I find it very hard to use bungees and stuff to attach something to the actual max mount. But that flat plate from Link Q, it does have some slots that you'll see, and you can attach bungee cords or netting to that. So if you have something odd, maybe the Link Q plate will work for you. Like I said, you'll probably have to jury rig it somehow, but any of the small to medium sized bags should work. Like any of those waterproof motorcycle bags that you know, they got the straps, you'll have to figure out because they're all different. The one thing you don't want is any type of bag that hangs over the side. Okay? Understand, like this area right here, this is going to get compressed when you're riding. So you don't want, like, that's why saddlebags don't work. The saddlebags aren't rigid enough. I tried it, and they'll flop into the tire. Like I said, and then of course you have the last option, which is not bad. It's very doable. A lot of guys do it, especially guys that commute on sport bikes, is a backpack. A regular backpack. You don't need a motorcycle one, just a regular backpack. You know, if you don't have, they're not bad. They're not bad. I did it before I got this. It is an option, and it's probably the cheapest and the easiest option there actually is to just put a backpack on and go. And this is what guys that ride sport bikes, they do it all the time. You know, in New York, here in New York, I see it all the time. And it's definitely an option. This is just probably a little bit more versatile, because if you already have this on here and you're out, you already have a container. You don't, you know, you go buy something on the fly because you're on your bike and now you have no way to put it. I hope that answers you guys' questions, or if you didn't ask the question, if you're actually thinking about it. It has a frunk, which is bigger than most sport bikes. Well, I'm not going to get into it too deeply. The Spyder, its frunk is down here, and you could fit a full-size helmet in any of the Spyder models. So right off the bat, if you have a backpack that's about the size of your helmet, you know, you could put it in there, and then when you get someplace, you take that out, you put your helmet in. It works. So even on the bare bones stock Spyder, you still have a giant full-size helmet frunk. Yeah, I think that's it. That's the this is my commuting setup, which is right here. Forget that. But without that tank bag, this was my commuting setup. Okay? And I did it for since 2020. That's how I went to work. But the nice thing about stuff that's built in, like that bag, the heated grips, they're always there. So even if you don't need them, they're there. You know? The problem with workarounds is, well, when you need it, you won't have it. So take it for what it's worth. Can you commute? Yes. Do you need some stuff to do it? Maybe. Maybe not. All right, let's hit the road. Go back.
I hope you guys found that helpful, informative, gave you something to think about and how to use it in your own life. Once again, please, if you liked it, subscribe, like, comment, feel free. You know, if you got ideas, if you want me to address something, if you want me to talk about something that I haven't done yet, put it in the comments. Let me know down below. You guys ride safe. I'll see you next time. Enjoy the winter.